Come back students to the class 12 for the bookkeeping and accountancy subject. Today we are going to study about the chapter number 2, not-for-profit organization, that is the accounts of the not-for-profit organization. In that first we will see the introduction of the not-for-profit organization. In introduction we will see meaning, definition and the various examples of the not-for-profit organization or a concern. And then afterwards we will see the difference between the not-profit making organization and the profit making organization, and then the receipt and payment account which is needed to prepare the final account of the not-for-profit organizations. So today we are going to study about the account of the not-for-profit organizations or a concern. For-profit concern, in that we will see the various examples. For example, see that it is given that in the introduction that they do not carry any trading or manufacturing activities, that means they are not buying and selling the goods. Yes, they are buying and selling the goods, but not with the aim to earn the profit. And that is why it is not the trading activity. Trading activity means our aim is to earn the profit and we are buying and selling the goods. But here they are buying and selling the goods, but their aim is not to earn the profit. Normally they sell the goods to their members or to the outsider, to the societies in a large, to provide the services and not to earn the profit. And few examples are there: sports club, charitable hospitals, school, colleges, universities. These are the charitables in the sense that it is these hospitals, schools and colleges. When we enter in that, they are going to provide us all the varieties of the courses. If it is a university or college or school, hospital will provide all the facilities, but at the cheaper rate. As it is, all the facilities are sponsored by the government. Whatever charges are there, from that we have to pay only the minor proportion of that, and the major part of the expenses are paid by the government. That is why these are the charitable hospitals, school, colleges and universities. Trade unions means the various industries are having their employees. Employees may have the problems related to the employer or the organizations. So they can join the trade organization for a trade union by paying the minimum charges as a member, and if they have any problems or difficulties in the organization where they are working, then the trade union on behalf of them will fight for them. Labor trade unites, chamber of commerce. It is related to the commercial activities, professional institutions like the institutions of the B.Ed courses or a CA courses, this professional courses where we get the degree to become the professional. That is called as a professional institutions. Trust, various trusts are there. You must have heard about the Sai Baba Trust, the Siddhi Vinayak Trust. These are the organizations. Which type of organization? Not for profit organization. They get their amount from the people in the form of the donation, and that same donation they are using for the benefit of the people only, but not for the upper level of the society, but the lower level of the society where actually the help is needed in the form of the books, clothes, food. Similarly, the social welfare organization also provides the services to the society. And this religion concern, just now I spoke to you, religion concern comes under the religion concern. We have the church, temple, masjid, gurudwara. This all providing the food at a free of cost, or they are charging the minimum amount for providing the foods. So this all comes under the not-for-profit concern. Even the libraries. So in the many cities, the government have started the big libraries in all the sort of books are available related to the any subject, any topic. You can find out from that library. But for that we have to pay the minimum charges for using the books in the library. These all are the example of the not-for-profit concern. Now, the major object of this is to give the services to its member. Their major aim is not to earn the profit, but their aim is to provide the services especially to their members, or they can provide the services to the society in a general where it is actually needed. They maintain the books in a different way. As they are not earning the profit, so they are not going to prepare the profit and loss account. They normally prepare the income and expenditure account. Similarly, they don't have the trial balance as if it was there in a partnership final account. They have the receipt and payment account to prepare the account of the not-for-profit organization. These organizations' main aim is to provide the services to its member and society in the large. They are not formed to make the profit or to earn the profit. This organization prepares the balance sheet to find out the net worth. What do you mean by the net worth? Net worth is the amount in the form of the assets minus liability. If my assets are more and my liabilities are less, then I am having the good net worth. That is a I'm capable to run my concern. That is considered as a net worth. So simple meaning of the net worth is the assets of the organizations minus liabilities of the organization is equal to the net worth on a particular date. Final account of the not-for-profit concern is consisting of the income and expenditure account and the balance sheet. So income and expenditure account is normally prepared to find out the surplus or a deficit, and the balance sheet is meaning for the not-for-profit concern. In case of the not-for-profit concerns, not-for-profit concerns are those concerns which are not started to earn the profit but to give the qualitative services to its member and the society at the minimum charges. So their aim is to provide the services, not only to provide the services but to provide a better qualitative means better services to the people who are really in a need for that or the members who have joined the not-for-profit organizations at the minimum charges. Charges will be the minimum. If you see that we go to the specialist, that is a either ENT specialist, that is a eyes and ear specialist, or we go to the cardiologist. We are charging for one visit fees 1000 rupees or 800 rupees. But if that same ENT specialist is going in a municipal hospital for a one week day, and there we have taken the appointment of that doctor. That doctor will provide the same services, but he is going to charge only 100 rupees or 50 rupees fees. Why? Because the rest of the fees is sponsored by the not-for-profit organization. So those who are the members or those who are the members of the society. Now twice I said the members. One member is a member of the not-for-profit organization and another member is a member of the society. They get the services of the not-for-profit concern organizations at the minimum cost or minimum charges. The main objective is to provide the social services and promote the art, culture, sports and education. Here they have not started the any kind of the business activities. Here their aim is to provide the services, that is the social services. In case of the social services, you can see that the many NGOs are running to promote the arts in the sense of the dance, culture, sports and education. The nature of these concerns are the different from the profit-making organization. Profit, when we say the profit-making organization, it is definitely a business. And business, when we say the word business, its aim is to earn the profit. But here, if we say the not-for-profit, then their aim is to provide the services, and they basically form to help the others in the form of education, developing the art, culture, and sports among the person or a members who join the organizations or a society wherever the services is required. Not-for-profit concern collects all the income through the subscription. Now, what is the meaning for the subscription? Those who becomes a member of the not-for-profit organization, they have to pay the certain amount every month to continue their membership. That is called a subscription. Admission fees, once we entered into the not-for-profit organizations, we require the entry, and that entry fee is normally called as the entrance fees or admission fees. Donations, common people will give the donation to run the not-for-profit organizations. Why? Because the not-for-profit organization not dealing in any kind of a business. Their income is coming from the society and that is distributed among again to the society in a form of the services. So donation, this all are the collection part, that is the income of the not-for-profit concern given by the members or a non-members, and the grant and subsidies or a concession received from the government. Grants means government will give the huge amount to start the railways or to start the municipal hospitals. Subsidy, you can see that the at the ration store where we get the gehu, chawal, etc. At a concessional rate. I have not said at a free of cost, at a concessional rate, that is called the subsidized food. And the concession in a fees, those who are studying in the PMC school or colleges, they have to pay the very less amount of fees, that is called the concession. So this all sort of things are there in case of the not-for-profit organizations or a concern. Features of the not-for-profit concern or organizations. The primary objectives of the such concern is to provide the services to its members and not to earn the profit. And again emphasizes on the word its members. Those who are the members, to them they are providing the better quality services at a conventional or cheap rate. Or many a times they are working not only for the members but for the benefit of the society, where the really the people are in a need for that. That is why their aim is given only to provide the services, not to earn the profit. The concerns are formed to promote the art, culture, education, sports, and charity and health. Just now we spoke about that. It is main aim to promote the art, culture, education, sports, charity, and the health. Charity, you can know that the many organizations themselves they need the charity. Why? Because they are running the organization, they require the funds, and then whatever funds they receive, they again distribute it in the form of the charity for the betterment of the people who are really in need for that. The members of this concern cannot get the dividend, it is prohibited. So why the members will not get the dividend? Because once whatever amount we are paying in the form of the subscription, for that the organization gives us the benefit. So we are not doing any kind of the investment in the not for profit concern. So they are not going to give us any kind of the dividend, whatever amount we have given to them. And it is a prohibited under the act of the not for profit organization, that is the Charitable Trust Organizations Act, it is a prohibited. The management of such concern is done by the elected representatives. All so many members are joining the not-for-profit concern for to work as a free of cost, to work for the betterment of the society. Now all cannot run the business together. So what they will do? They will form a group and they do the election. And in the election, whoever is elected, they will run the not-for-profit organizations. These concerns prepare the recipient payment account, income and expenditure account, and the balance sheet. Recipient payment account is normally a base to prepare the income and expenditure account and the balance sheet. So recipient payment is always shows the details of the cash received and payments made by the not-for-profit concern. Income and expenditure shows how much revenue, income and expenditure spent or spent by the organizations, and the balance sheet shows the net worth, that is the assets and liabilities of the organization. So capital fund is created by such concern. Now normally we used to write the word capital, but this is for the first time we will write the capital fund, because this is not the something which is brought by the owner. Here nobody is the owner of the not-for-profit concern. Where the not-for-profit organization is formed by the members, run by the members for the benefit of the society. So members, whatever they are contributing or whatever we got in the form of the entrance fees, surplus, legacy, donation, after adding all this, we are going to create a fund and that fund is normally called as the capital. In case of the capital, Remember that the formula is given assets minus liability, but in that case, the major part is that first of all, those who are the owner, they have to bring certain amounts in the form of the cash or in a form of assets and given to the organization to run the business, and that is basically termed as a capital. But in this case, it is cannot be termed as a capital because it is not by the individuals from their home and not given to the organization to run the business. It is a something which is accumulated with the help of the entrance fees, surplus, legacies, and donations. And when the accumulation is done, because this money doesn't belong to the any one person, this money belongs to the so many person have contributed in the form of the donation. And that is why this is considered as a capital fund and not the capital. Difference between the profit-making organization and not-for-profit organization. First point is given primary objectives. Primary objectives of the profit-making concern is definitely to earn the profit, but in case of the not-for-profit organization, is not to earn the profit but to provide the services. Preparation of the trial balance. Trial balance is compulsory prepared in case of the profit-making organization, where without trial balance, it is impossible for all the profit-making organization to prepare their final account. So to prepare a final account and to get the actual amount of the profit or a net worth in the form of the assets and liabilities, it is compulsory for the profit-making organization to prepare the trial balance. In case of the not-for-profit concern, they never used to prepare the trial balance. Instead of trial balance, they normally prepare the recipient payment account. Accounting statement. In case of the partnership final account, we have already studied. We prepare the trading account or the loss account in the balance sheet. But in case of the not-for-profit organization, we normally prepare the recipient payment account, income and expenditure account, and the balance sheet. In case of the profit-making organization, net result may be the profit or a loss, that is a net profit or a net loss. And in case of the not-for-profit organization, it is a surplus or a deficit. Surplus when the income is more and expense is less, and deficit when the expense is more and income is less. Owner's fund or a capital fund. Owner's fund includes the owner's investment, matlab those who have started the organization, they are considered as the owner, and owner has to bring the funds from their personal saving and use. They have to start the business, and that is why it is a capital. Capital in capital we have to add the net profit, and it is a profit which is not withdrawn by the partners or a sole trader, but it is kept with the organization in the form of the reserve. These all are added in the capital. But in case of the not-for-profit organization, we have to see we have the capital fund, and in capital fund, normally the entrance fees, mega fees, donations are added to have the capital fund. Meaning of the recipient payment account. Now, day-to-day transaction of the not-for-profit concerns are recorded in the cash book. Then they are posted to the ledger account, and at the end of the financial year, cash book and ledger account are balanced, and from that, this balance recipient payment account is prepared. If you remember that whenever we are doing any kind of things, first of all, transaction takes place. From the transaction, we prepare the journal, and if the size of journal is a large, because we are recording all the details in a journal. So in that case, we are dividing the journal into the parts. And that part is considered a subsidiary book, and one of the major important subsidiary book is the cash book. The cash book, and then from the journal we are posting all the balances to the ledger account, and finally we are closing down the ledger account, and all the things will go to the recipient payment account. In that way, the recipient payment account is prepared from the balances of the various ledger accounts and the cash. Recipient payment account is a real account as it is related to the cash, so we have to follow the principle of the real account, that is the debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Credit transactions are not at all recorded. What do you mean by the credit transactions? Are transactions for which we have not received the cash, or we have not paid the cash, that transactions are not at all recorded in the recipient payment account. In the case of the recipient payment account, the summary of the cash and bank transaction for a particular period of time is recorded. That means that only we have to see that whatever cash we have received and whatever cash we have paid. If it is a received cash, then it is considered as a receipt and is to be shown on the debit side of the recipient payment account. If we have paid the cash, then it is called as a payment and it is to be shown on the credit side of the recipient payment account. Now we will see what is a recipient payment. All the receipts during the particular period of time are debited to the recipient payment account. Receipt means what we received in the form of cash. Whatever cash you will receive, that is called as a receipt. Now see that the important word is given irrespective of the year for which they are received. We should not take into the consideration कि कौन सा साल का मिला है. It is to be recorded for the any year, that means truly that is any year, that it is a previous year, next year, previous to previous year, we have received what cash. If we have received the cash, it is definitely to be recorded on the receipt side, irrespective whether it's a capital receipt or a revenue receipt. We have to record on the debit side of the receipt payment account as a receipt. So in case of the receipt, all the receipts are recorded related to the any year, related to the any nature, such as the it is for the last year, next year, current year, previous year, and the next one is the irrespective of the revenue or a capital, that we are not bothered if that is a recurring in the nature or a non-recurring in the nature, but we have received the cash, so we have to compulsory record on receipt side. So the receipt may be related to the previous year, current year or next year. I said earlier also, all the receipts are debited to the recipient payment account, whether they are the revenue or the capital, to the recipient payment account debit side. Now payment. Payment made during the particular year are credited to the recipient payment account. Again, there is a irrespective. Why the word irrespective? What we have discussed, we have to write in a recipient payment account only the cash. We have to see in a major whether the cash is comes in or whether the cash is going out. If it is cash is coming in, then it is a receipt for us, whether it is related for the any of the year, but it is a receipt, so it is to be recorded in the account. Similarly, it is same applicable to the payment. Payment whether it is related to the previous year, current year or next year, but it is a paid, that we have to record in the books of account, that is in the receipt and payment account payment side, because we have paid. We are least bothered the payment is of which nature, recurring nature or a non-recurring nature. We have paid, cash is going out, so that is why it is to be recorded on the credit side of the income, credit side of the receipt and payment account, and all the payments are the credited. Now we will see the features of the recipient payment account. Recipient payment account is a real account. Recipient payment account is a real account because it is related to the cash and cash itself is a real account. That is why the recipient payment account is a real account. Recipient payment account is similar to the cash book. If you remember that when we prepare the cash book, in that we are having the two sides, debit side and the credit side. On the debit side, we normally record all the receipts in the form of cash, and on the payment side, we normally record whatever we have paid in the form of cash. So, recipient payment account is almost similar to the cash book. It includes all the types of the recipient payment. All the types means it is a revenue receipt or a revenue expenditure, or it can be a capital receipt or a capital expenditure. So whether they are recurring in the nature, non-recurring in the nature, that is not considered. What we have to see that if it is a receipt in a form of cash, then it is recorded on the receipt side. If it is a paid in a form of cash, then it is recorded on the payment side, whether it is a revenue or a capital. It records all the recipient payments made during the particular year, that is for the current year, previous year, next year. It records all the receipts. Just now, in the last, I have explained what to write. In that case, I told to you that if I have received the cash, whether it is related to the previous year, next year, or current year, I have to write because what I have received cash. And if I have made the payment of cash, so I have paid whether for the previous year, current year, next year, but I have paid, so I have to record in the recipient payment account because the cash is comes in or cash is going out. Income and income receivable, amount payable are not recorded. That is, the credit transactions are normally not recorded in the income and expenditure account. No, not in income and expenditure account, but in a recipient payment account. In case of the income and expenditure account, we have to record the credit transaction, but when we write down or we have the recipient payment account, in the recipient payment account, we never write the word receivable and payable. But that is, outstanding and prepaid income and expenses are not recorded in the recipient payment account. This account is a base for preparing the final account of the not-for-profit concern. So, similarly, when we studied, we just saw the uh, difference between the profit-making and not-for-profit making organization. In that, we saw to prepare the final account of the partnership, there is a need to prepare the trial balance. But in case to prepare the final account of the not-for-profit concern, in that case, the base is the recipient payment account. So without recipient payment account, it is really difficult to prepare the final account for the not-for-profit concern. This account shows the opening, closing balance of the cash book or bank overdraft. So this account definitely will show the opening and closing balance because this is mainly related to the cash. So cash account may be having the opening balance or a closing balance depending upon the availability of the cash, or sometimes if we are no cash, so we have taken the bank overdraft facilities. All the details of the opening and closing we will get from the reception payment. So thank you all of you for listening. In this entire video, we have studied about the basics of the not-for-profit organization. We have studied about the examples like school, universities, libraries, gymkhana, etc. Various welfare organizations, they are considered as a not-for-profit organization. For the not-for-profit organization, there is a need to prepare the recipient payment account. On the basis of that, we can prepare easily the final account, and we saw the nature of the recipient payment account. That in recipient payment account, we are not considering all the credit transactions, those are receivable or payable, that is a prepaid, outstanding and advance transactions are never recorded in the recipient payment account, but whereas all the cash transactions related to the previous year, current year and next year are recorded. Even the transaction of the capital nature, that is the receipt and payment of the capital nature as well as the revenue in the nature are also recorded in the recipient payment account. So this was the basics of the not-for-profit organizations. Thank you.